Welcome to the Land, your bet sports betting show. 2 games here on Friday night, running through the Thunder and the Nuggets in this one, Game 3 back in Denver. Don't have an episode up for the Cleveland and Indy game. There's too much unknown with Cleveland right now, so I'm looking to do a live in the morning to at least run through a few things with you guys, and then quick housekeeping update. Going to be out from the videos here until next Tuesday. Going to be out of town for a few days, looking at a bachelor party in Vegas, so I'm not exactly complaining. Still going to have those picks up for the VIP as we're still going to be capping. We're going to be putting bets down in Vegas while I'm there, so hope to see you guys in the VIP for those of y'all interested. Still have the same code running for those who want to get 50% off in the first month. But we're going to run through what we've got here for Nuggets and Thunder. If that all sounds good, give this video a like. Let's get right into things. Game 3 notes here. We know Game 2 was just nasty from the jump, right? Not much to learn there from Game 2. It was over pretty quickly. In the first half there, OKC shot nearly 60% from the field as a team, shot about 44% from behind the three-point line, and all that stuff was even better in the first quarter when they shot 71% from the field. So scoring, what was it, a record like 86, 87 points in the first half, that record for a playoff game. Then scored 37 in the third quarter. So there wasn't much to learn from it. Denver's top 6 players were a minus 33 plus minus on average, which includes Russ coming off the bench because he also saw like 22 minutes. And also that's even more ridiculous that it's a minus 33 in the amount of minutes that they were on the floor, which none of them played 33 minutes. In Game 3, though, we've got OKC with a 4.5 point spread. They're the favorites on the road, but it's just 4.5 here, which does tell you that the sort of market thinks that OKC is probably about 3 to 4 points better than Denver, but then they give them a little bit of 3 points there for the home court advantage for Denver. And so we got a pretty decent spread. We can probably bank on this game being close enough to play our normal stuff here, so we can just sort of cap this game normally without being worried about a blowout. Nothing new here with the matchups, everything the same. Chet is on Porter Jr., just starting there because that is something that kind of switches back and forth at times. J-Dub has been on Aaron Gordon a lot more. I think we'll continue to see that be the case. And then Hartenstein and Jokic battle it out. Nothing new here for OKC when they're on defense. Putting Denver on defense, you can see normal stuff as well. Porter Jr. on Holmgren because they like Gordon or on Williams. I had the asterisk there just because there's a possibility maybe he saw fewer minutes or didn't start in Game 2. But we're going to go over Michael Porter Jr. here as we go through these player props because I do think that, first of all, the numbers for him have bottomed out. Like they're too low for a guy that if he gets a few more minutes than normal, or at least the normal minutes, I should say, then he should be good for these numbers. But he played like 25 minutes in this last game. And I think that if you kind of extrapolate that out and expect a non-blowout in a normal basketball game here, that he probably would have gotten to 30 in Game 2 as opposed to the fewer minutes that he played there in Game 1. As always, going to be using Props Madness here to show you guys the props I'm looking at. If you do want to jump into this platform, #1 sports betting research tool for all things player props and hoops, use code LYB. That'll get you 25% off your first month. You can also use that to get 7 free days and trial it out for yourself. See if you like it. Everything's description of the video has the links to everything you need in there. Going through what we've got here, let's kind of go down the line a bit and just say I do like Jokic on some stuff. 28.5 points, though, is pretty ridiculous. I'm looking more at the assists. And looking back at Game 2, he only took 16 shots. I mean, in the 16 shots were in what, like the 32 minutes that he played. He was swarmed, man. Like, even those 16 shots were tough. Really no, like, easy looks. Maybe a few little bunnies, but other than that, man, they're keeping him away from the basket. As soon as he gets the ball at the free throw line and in, there's at least 2 guys on him, often 3. And they did a good enough job of not even letting him get the passes off in this last game. But he still ended with 12 potential assists, or 14, potential assists in this game in just the 32 minutes. I think the potential assists are going to keep going up for him because especially at home, where he has a few more assists per game on the season than he does when he's away. It's going to help him in this situation to have his guys help him out, essentially, because he's going to continue to have that many defenders on him. Rather than just force things, I do think he's going to look to get other guys involved, again, especially at home where you can trust role players to make their shots a little bit more. Moving down the line here for Jamal, I still don't like any of his stuff. I still think he's better for an under on the points. I might leave the assists out of it. He didn't have very much in the way of assists in this one. He had 1 in the last game on 8 potentials. But the prior game, 13 potential assists, 6 total assists on that, which I think is something you can normally expect. I think 5.5 is actually a bit low, especially against a team that he's one of the guys that the OKC defense is going to key in on to get the ball out of his hands. So I do think he's going to be in position, obviously, to have the ball in his hands a ton. And when they try to force it out, obviously the assists are a bit better. But I would be fading the points. I think those are exploitable. He's had 2 good games against this team now. This game on March 10th played really well. Shot the ball 22 times. Forget who was out for OKC. They were missing a couple guys, but most of them were there. It's just this is the outlier. In game 1 here, they won by 2, but in 44 minutes, man, 16 shots. Got to the free throw line 8 times, but if he didn't get to the free throw line 8 times, which is a bit of an outlier against this team as well, other than the one game he did well. So I think there's not that many opportunities for Jamal to get easy buckets. I like the under on the points for him, but the over on the dimes. Haven't decided if I'm betting this yet. Just want to give you a bit of an overview of how I'd be playing this. And the threes are pretty much a no-go for me. I know he hit them, he had 3 for 5 in this last game. I don't want him to have to hit 3 shots on 5 3 attempts, right? Game 1, he did shoot 7 times, but they are forcing him off the line. And then as soon as he gets into the inside the 3-point line, they're swarming him as well, which is why assists are a better play for me. And then if you look at the points and the threes, those are going to be things I don't like nearly as much. Do have a bet that I like for Ago, and I'm going to be looking to get down on his boards again. And we talked about this last game. I don't need to go too much more into it, although if you're watching this for the first time, I will let you know what's going on here. Also would appreciate a like on the video if you're getting anything out of what we're putting down here about these player props for game 3. 6.5 for plus money, though. I like it. Like, I like 6.5 for basically even money in this last game, mostly because when you look at what he does head-to-head against this team, they don't have anybody to board up with him. Now, he had just 5 boards, and to be fair, just 8 rebound chances in this last game, but let's give him a little bit of a break here. He played 27 minutes in this game. 5 rebounds in 27 minutes is great. You extrapolate that out, he's definitely getting 2 more if he plays 35 minutes, right? And if he plays 40, like we expect him to, he should be good for about 8, maybe 9 boards. I'll probably be laddering him, by the way. If you look at the games where he's played head-to-head where he's had, even let's just give him 25 plus minutes, right, this season. He's played just 3, right? In the first 2, 33 and 39 minutes, including that game 1 where he played 39, 22 rebound chances game 1, 14 rebound chances in 33 minutes here during the regular season game. That was in October too. It's so long ago. I don't know how much you want to use that, but when he does go up head to head, the rebound chances are there when he gets to the normal minutes. Same concept for last season when he played head to head, right? One game he played 23 minutes, just 4 rebound chances. The next 2, 16 and 26. Granted, the one with 26 was without Jokic, but even if Jokic was in and you take away 10 of those, 16 rebound chances to get 7 boards is a very good bet, especially for plus money. And he's averaging almost 19 rebound chances per game versus this team since last season when he gets at least 30 minutes. Got to bank on 30 plus minutes, or more likely 36 plus minutes if this game is reasonably close once again. And I do think it will be. I mean, we saw the Nuggets leave their starters until about 3 minutes left in the third quarter, even though they were down like 30, 40 points. So obviously they're not afraid of playing their starters deep into the game to try to make a comeback. And even if this game is at about 15, 18 points in favor of OKC because they are doing really, really well, which I don't think that'll be the case. But even if that's worst case scenario, I don't think the Nuggets will just rest all their guys. They're going to try to do everything they can to win game 3, even if it's not going their way into the third and fourth quarters. I honestly don't know what to do with Christian Brown right now. Going to move past him for you guys so I don't waste anybody's time. But I like a number of different angles on Russ Westbrook. I do like Russ on the point still. I don't know how we can get away from 12.5. This is probably going to be 13.5. I guess if you want the 15 plus for Russ, we're getting out of range of me liking the points. But if I was going to bet an over for him, I would be betting over on the points. We'll see how I feel about it tomorrow and what the market does with this number. If this is like 13.5 minus 130 or something like that, I'm probably out on the points. But if we look at the RA, I think we can go under on that. And I know that in the head-to-head stuff, he was really good against this team in the regular season with the RA. And I made the mistake before game 1 of thinking he was going to continue to be that involved. But there's a couple things going on. One, in this game where they lost by 15, he got a couple of garbage time minutes and only got to 21. And he wasn't the Russ Westbrook of the Nuggets that we know today. This was still October 24th, like first game of the season. But if we look at game 2, 32 minutes, they won by 2, no Jamal Murray, no Aaron Gordon. Kind of a good reason to believe that he went over because of that, right? Next game, played really well, but they lost by 24. So he got 31 minutes again because it wasn't a close game, and most of the starters weren't playing by the fourth quarter. That's a big reason why he saw most of those minutes and stuff, the stats that he got towards the end of the game. Other game in the regular season, 33 minutes. Again, no Aaron Gordon this one. This was the second day of a back-to-back, right? They played March 9, March 10. Russ is a guy that you play on the back-to-back as many minutes as he damn well pleases because you're not worried about his energy levels, right? Now we're getting to the playoffs, and he is not the same guy in terms of how he's being used against the Nuggets. Against the Thunder. The Thunder are leaving him open. So he's not in a position where he's going to the hoop. There's other guys open around him and he can facilitate. he's got the ball in his hands after a couple passes have been made most of the time, or, he's giving it up early in the possession and maybe he brings the ball up the court, but that doesn't really mean once he gets across half court, he's doing much with it. There's a lot of him going off ball now. That's why his potential assists in the first game were only at 3 in 30 minutes. In this last game, they were at 7 in 22 minutes. I don't like him at 5 potential assists to get his assists. So just looking at those specifically, they're at 4.5. I know he had 5 in this last game on 7 potentials. I don't like that to be something he continues, right? 7 potential assists is not enough to bank on him getting 5 total assists. And then as far as the boards go, rebound chances at 6 and 5. If he's at 5.5, 6 rebound chances, I don't like him to get 5. And I don't think that he'll continue to be in a position to get those rebound chances because he's actually doing a lot of guarding SGA. That's a big reason they bring him in off the bench and he relieves Christian Brown at times, not off the court, but at least in terms of guarding SGA. He'll be a guy that they are happy to have switch on to SGA when he tries to get the right matchup or goes matchup hunting. They're not afraid to have Russ as one of those guys that guards him one-on-one. So I do think that the minutes will be there, but the rebounds are not necessarily a bad bet unless you're going under once again, because I don't think the chances will be there when he's so busy guarding the guy who shoots most of the shots in SGA. I mentioned I was going to at least get to Michael Porter Jr. a little bit. Like, I know we're all very down on him. He had 8 points on 10 total shots in this last game. 25 minutes looks worse than it really is because everybody played less than the normal amount. I think we should be banking on him getting 30 minutes if he's not missing everything. And he's back at home. Role players back at home. Vibe off the crowd, a lot easier to shoot, right? He did 10.5 points for a guy that's at 17 a game. Even if you look at him in the playoffs this season, right? Like, yes, this season he's at 9.6, and some of these are based on the injury, but also some of them, if you look at last season, like, come on, like, he is closer to like 15, 14 points a game in the playoffs. Even if you don't care how many he made in the regular season, where in the regular season this year, he's at 17 points per game. 10.5 looks way too low. Let's assume that we dumb that down to a 14, 15 point per game guy in the playoffs. This is still too low just based on that. And if he's healthy enough to get up 10 shots, then he should be healthy enough to make freaking like 4 or 5 of them, right? So I think I'm going to be looking at some points and really big zag on what the public is zigging with, which is they're probably going under on Michael Porter Jr. I can't get there with it at home. This is a nice buy low spot. We'll see what these lines look like in the morning. I don't have quite as much for the Thunder here, but man, Lou Dort is still getting really good odds to hit 3 threes. And I'm going to see again what this is like in the morning. Are there people betting on this? Is the market pressure moving this one way or the other? But if you look at Lou Dort head to head, I really liked the idea of taking him for plus money on the threes before this last game. He had 9 attempts in 27 minutes. Right? He had 9 attempts in the other game in 30 minutes, and we'll probably project him for about 30 to 34 minutes per game moving forward because he is the main defender on Jamal Murray. So you can bank on the minutes being there for him. The 3-point attempts are also there for him, right? Now he's taking 7.3 per game against this team compared to 5.9 per game on the season. He's shooting this thing at about a 40% clip on the season for the 3-point shots. So if he takes 7, that's 43. Making 3 of 7 is like 42% from 3, right? So if he's taking 7 and he makes 3, that's close to his thing. We're getting plus money. If he takes 7, I don't mind this bet. If he takes 8, I really like this bet. And he might take damn well 9 like he's taken in the first 2 games, right? And in fact, the games where he failed to take really too many threes, like game 1, this was like a blowout where everybody else was doing everything. SGA was going crazy, J-Dub, a few other guys for the Thunder were going crazy early in the season on October 24th, right? Everything else, at least 5, and then 14 in this game in March, and then we get into the playoffs and he's at 9 in both of them. So I think 8 is a fair projection on the threes, which means plus money is a good bet because they are leaving him open as well, right? They're a terrible spot up defense are the Nuggets. They give up a ton of assists. Lou Dort scores off of assists as he's not really beating anybody one-on-one. So I think that the points probably safer as they normally are. But when you get this kind of plus money for the threes, to hit 3 of them, I do like that number for him. And that is all the time I have for you in this one. Last reminder, you can still jump into the VIP using code Davion for 50% off for your first month in there. Link is in the description of the video. And as mentioned, going to be out on the videos here for a little bit starting Friday night as I will be in Vegas. So I'm not too bummed, like I said, but I will be back here on Tuesday getting back into things with you guys. And we'll be dropping those bets in the VIP. Also available in the free section of the Discord if you want to come in and talk and ask some questions. It's at JL Boogie. So until I see y'all next, happy betting.